Hey everybody, Bill here from KeystoneWeapon.com, and I wanted to take a quick look at the SigSauer P226 Navy Edition. This is a gun that I've had the pleasure of doing quite a bit of shooting with lately, and it's really proven to be quite a nice firearm. In fact, I've sort of got the Sig sickness with a couple of their guns recently. I've gotten a chance to shoot some 229s and 226s, and they've really left quite a good impression on me. As some of you may know, my wife typically carries the SigSauer 938, the little miniature baby Sig in 9mm, and I have plenty of family members that carry the Sig P238, the the little 380 ACP versions, and they have very much impressed me with the quality of their build quality and reliability of their guns. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and show this 226 here. Now this is the Navy edition, and now I don't know everything about these their lineup. They have one of the most confusing lineups I've ever seen, actually, because there's like 5,000 different variants of the same gun. But the one in front of me here is a 226. It's the Navy edition. You can see it has a really cool little engraved anchor in the side, and it also has it sports a little bit of a different finish that's supposed to be anti-corrosive and everything like that. The actual owner of this firearm does a lot of activity on a boat, so they wanted to make sure that salt water wasn't going to be a corrosive to it and everything like that. And I guess that this particular variant, which is very similar to the variant that our armed forces carry, as well as a lot of our federal agents and some police departments around the country, this is supposed to be really close to that particular weapon. And I can see why they would carry something like this. It's very reputable, it's very reliable, and it also shoots very well. Now you guys know that I'm mostly a 1911 guy, so to get me into something made of plastic or something like that's not usually something you're probably used to seeing from me. I also got out my M&P 9 to just give you some comparison info. But this is the Sig 226. Like I said, it's the Navy edition. The grip angle on it I find to be not comfortable for me. Personally, I have some issues with it, and it's really the same issues that I have with my M&P, or just darn near about any polymer gun. Aside from, well, the Glock never had this problem. You can see that I actually took some material out of my frame here because as a left-handed shooter, I like to drive that hand way up into the back strap, and then put my palm of my other hand into the pocket there. I really like to have a high grip on it. And right in this area here is where the guns tend to bite me. These polymers tend to kill me. And that's why I removed some material there, so that I can get way up on this gun and get a good positive grip on it. This particular firearm has this humongous bump right here, and that kills me. I'm practically, I'm about bleeding by the time I leave the range, because like I said, I like to drive it up in here. If it had more of a beaver tail or something like that, maybe it wouldn't bother me so much. But I like to get really high on the gun, and where my thumb is right there on that ridge. So if this was my gun, I'd be contouring that out. With that being said, I can still shoot this gun exceptionally well. It hasn't failed to fire or feed or extract or anything on anything that we've put through it. And as well, it's just really accurate. It shoots really well. I can shoot it well. Maybe other people have different experience with it, but I can shoot this gun very well. The one thing I don't like is, and you guys may not know this about me, but I hate night sights. I don't like night sights at all, and I'm sorry if you guys are, some people are into lasers and night sights and stuff like that. Personally, I like to have a fiber optic. Well, here's an example. I blacked out my dots in the back because I don't even really like 3 dots that much, and I have a fiber optic in the front. Really, all I care about is my front sight, so these don't bother me, the 3-dot night sights. And actually, Sig makes very good night sights. Like I said, my wife has a 938, and the Sig lights that they put on these are exceptionally, they're very good. I'll just say that. So for me, this grip thing's a problem. The grip on it feels similar to my M&Ps in a way. The M&P I think has a smaller grip, just going from hand to hand here than the 226. But again, I bet you can do a lot with grips on these. I bet you can, you know, get smaller ones or something like that. I like the grip angle of this. It's similar to the M&Ps. It feels very natural. Its pointability is very natural. I just would rather be able to get higher up on the gun. I don't like being this far from the slide. That's not something I like. Although, it's proven me wrong, and I can shoot the crap out of this thing, and it really performs well. The other thing I don't like is I don't like this stupid sticker on the side with like your serial number and all that garbage. I think that's kind of dumb, and that's probably some kind of government thing or whatever. But if this was my gun, I'd be tearing that thing off because the serial number's stamped into the gun. I don't know why you need a sticker with a QR code in it to tell you the same thing. Okay, with all that being said, the trigger on this gun is awesome. So in double action, it's something like 10 or so pounds. I do not shoot this gun in double action, and I apologize, I should have shown you that this was cleared, but this gun is obviously empty since I just pulled the trigger on a not around. It does have things like the decocker here, so you can, you know, pull this down and put it back into double action once you've fed around to keep it, you know, all dangered up and ready to roll. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. My camera stopped again. I do not like the slide safety, or the slide stop back here. If I was a righty, that would be freaking awesome because I can reach right up and I can hit it. But I'm not. I'm a lefty, so I gotta like do some kind of crazy maneuver to actually let the slide forward. However, I almost never ever let the slide down by the slide stop. I almost always slingshot it anyway, so that really is no concern to me. I don't use a decocker. I usually carry cocked and locked, so I'm not really worried about that so much. The single action trigger in this is very good. I don't like how much of a curve it has. I'm not a fan of curved triggers, probably because of all the 1911 ingrained in me. But the single action trigger on this, once you get it cocked, is very, very nice. They claim somewhere like 4.4 pounds or something like that. It feels like 3 pounds to me. I don't know. I don't really care to gauge it because it's probably going to show up as 4.4. But the fact that it breaks like glass is what's important to me. I don't really care what it weighs out at as long as it's comfortable. The frame, the slide, all the quality of the parts seem to be very nice. The breakdown of the weapon, obviously, is just like just about any other polymer gun. I do like that it's a hammer-fired weapon. I prefer hammer-fired weapons over striker fires, but it doesn't really matter to me at the end of the day. It's got this goofy-looking, it looks like an old AK-47 wound spring. Those things crack me up because they just look so junky in a gun that's like $1,000. But as far as like functionality, this is as simple as it gets. It's a really simple setup. It doesn't look complicated to me at all. And it works. I do like how the frame is fully railed out here. So you have this whole area. There's a lot of frame for the slide to ride on, I guess I should say. Assemblies, just the opposite, very simple. You know, safety check it. Single action trigger, like I said, very light. It's got a lot of take up. Again, that's something I don't care about. I actually don't mind any. I don't care. It could have 3 inches of take up. But as long as it stops right before it's going to break and then gives you that very predictable glass breaking nice trigger, and that's something that this does very, very well. So if you're in the market for a 9mm, and I believe that the magazines hold 15 rounds, and you don't want a Glock, you don't want a Smith & Wesson, you don't want an HK, or you do want a SIG, or you're not sure, these things shoot really well. I really like this gun. It's something I am very comfortable with shooting, especially going from a 1911 to another polymer gun to this. I can hop around between any of them and shoot them all just about as well. Again, this is going to cost a lot more than something like this M&P 9. This M&P 9 is going to be probably less than half as much money as this SIG, but this has some of those cool features, like if you're somebody who feels better about having a decocker, you have to have a hammer-fired weapon, or you want something that is going to stand up to corrosion out in the weather. This may be something that might fit your fancy there. But as far as the size of the guns, they're very similar in size. It depends on kind of how you measure these, because if you lay them slide over slide, They measure out pretty close. The grip angle's pretty close. If you do them front to front, you'll see that there's a little bit more gun sticking out of the SIG, a little bit more of this tail sticking out of the SIG. But all in all, they're very similar in size, and I would say the SIG probably weighs a little bit more, but for me, that's a good thing. I like a little bit of weight in my gun. I don't really care. As far as like ammo, we fired self-defense ammo through it. We fired tons and tons of my reloads. If you saw some of my recent videos, you saw I'm experimenting with Missouri bullets, high-tech coated bullets. These are just a truncated cone lead bullet, and this thing will eat lead all day, which is great. It does have a traditional rifled, button rifled barrel. It's not polygonal or octagonal or anything like that, like a Glock, where lead's not exactly a great idea to shoot it through. Traditional rifle barrel shoots excellent with lead rounds, very point and shoot. Like I said, my big gripes as a lefty is this big hump here, which I could solve in about 10 seconds with one of my tools here. And I don't like how drastically curved the trigger is, because it's a little tough for me to pull it exactly straight back. But with it being such a good break, I can still shoot it fantastically. So I don't claim to be some amazing shot or anything like that, but I can shoot this just as good as I can shoot some of my best 1911s. So with that being said, I give this thing 2 thumbs up. I wish it was going to live in my safe. Unfortunately, it's not going to. But I get to shoot it a lot. So, hey, thanks, guys, for listening. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, and take care. Shoot safe.